On the news, ESDA launches second edition of Coal City Deaf Awareness Week. In Abuja, President Tinubu approves the appointment of Jamiu Abiola as SSA on linguistics and foreign matters. On business news, Enugu hosts Manufacturers Association of Nigeria Southeast AGM. And on the foreign scene, British police announces investigation of late Harrods owner Mohammed Al-Fayed. And on our special report today spotlights Imo government's efforts in skill acquisition and agriculture. Good day, many thanks for joining me on the news this afternoon. I am Ogochukwu Osai, and details of the stories coming up next. Now let's begin the stories from Enugu State, where the Enugu State Deaf Association has officially launched the second edition of Coal City Deaf Awareness Week at the City Hall, Enugu North Local Government Council Secretariat in Enugu. While discussing the importance of the event, the state chairman of ESDA, Comrade Ugu Heba Tobina, emphasized the program's objectives.
We want to make sure that this association brings interpreters more for job among the deaf people in the community, in other organizations, in every local government as well. Commissions, there should be interpreters, and also in almost TV stations and every news outlet out there to make sure that we are deaf. Since it is darkness for the deaf because they can't hear, but they only hear with their eyes, they can't hear with their ears. They need to make sure that this association shows that the Deaf Awareness Week is a success.
Barrister Antonia Nisan, chairman of Patrons to the Deaf Community, Enugu State, stated that sign language should be made compulsory in primary and secondary schools in order for communication to flow.
The first thing we must confront is language barrier. Sign language is a form of language on its own, but many people don't even understand the sign language, and that has created a problem. Social dysfunction between lack of integration between the hearing and deaf community. Now, just like we make some languages or some subjects compulsory in our schools, I will advocate that in our primary and secondary schools, we should make the sign language compulsory, and that will make for integration and inclusiveness. That is to say, the hearing community, it will help the hearing community interact properly with the deaf people. They are not dumb, they are only deaf, but many of them are very brilliant. They can do as much, if not even better, than the hearing community. Anything that the hearing person can do, the deaf can do it. Yes, the deaf can do it. The issue is communication. Now, if you're able to understand their communication, you see that they are very brilliant people. So the only way to understand their language is to learn the sign language, and you communicate with them.
On his part, Mr. Chukwu called on the government to create specialized areas in the states or universities for deaf students.
Make this information general and going deep into them, especially in terms of educational sector and human development, which is needed mostly in the deaf community. And this has been the challenges they've been facing in Southeast Zone here. Within the 6 zones in Nigeria, it is only Southeast Zone that do not have a special center for learning places for the deaf people. In all Southeast, they don't have that. That is why many deaf people who finish university or secondary school, for example, they feel so bad or furthering their education more because there is no institution where they accommodate them more or plan for them to be in university in our Southeast. Some of them who have family support travel to other states for schooling there, like the chairman who graduated from Kwara State University, Uni Lori, and they used to they want to use this opportunity to plead to you people to make sure that this message is being sent out to every high stakeholders, Ministry of Education, to make sure that they come in to help us by creating a support system to help them, the deaf people in every institution like ASUT, IMT, UNN, College of Education, providing a sign language interpreter for every institution for them to be carried along so that deaf people will as well use this opportunity to fulfill something in life and be creative to the state in whatever they are doing.
The second edition of Deaf Awareness Week 2024 is a significant milestone for the community as it marks the first event since the inaugural edition in 2009. The highly anticipated 5th edition of Eastern Nigerian International Film Festival, ENIF 2024, in collaboration with British Council, kicked off yesterday, the 27th of November 2024, embracing the theme Reimagine, as it launched a celebration of creativity, culture and innovation in African and global cinema. The opening night at Enugu brought together filmmakers, industry professionals, and film lovers for an exciting evening. Day one featured an opening film screening, A Man Died, directed by the renowned Mr. Femi Udubemi, inspired by the prison memoir of Wole Soyinka. In their separate speeches, Ujuako Akukwe, CEO and co-founder of ENIF, and co-founder Mr. Ike Nabwe, expressed enthusiasm about ENIF's growth and shared the inspiration behind its founding and this year's theme.
First question in my mind is, this is the 5th year of ENIF, 5 years. What can you say about it?
I feel blessed, gratitude, excited, and I can't wait to see what happens this night. Because it's a big night for us. Sustaining a film festival for 5 years is not an easy feat, but we've been able to do it, showing consistency over the years. And not just that, attracting 3 world powers to Enugu, to Southeast Nigeria, the United States Consulate, the British Council, and the European Union. So I think we have done well, and I think I can actually blow my trumpets right now. So I love what is happening, and we look forward. We've counted 5 years, we look forward to 10 years.
So the theme says reimagine, and I'd like to know what inspired that theme.
So we are living in a new world, right? So our world has changed. It means that we need to evolve with the time. So what we're doing this year is to reimagine how we tell our stories, share new perspectives, and encourage filmmakers to not just open their mindset, let them have a mindset shift and see how they can utilize what's on the tongue of everybody, and that is AI. We imagine how to use technology to tell better stories. And we had pre-festival events where we ran workshops on reimagine folklore, like using telling stories with our folklore that meets international standard, and using AI to tell stories.
And I'm particularly interested in the challenges you experienced producing The Man Died. So can you share with us a couple, if there were?
Well, obviously, the work of Professor Wole Soyinka is always a very serious bit of business. It's a very internal film, and the biggest challenge for us was how to make the film filmic, how to make the story something that resonates across the ages, so that a lot of our young people who do not have the benefit of history are able to also understand what it has taken in nation building, the kind of challenges Nigeria has had, and the kind of conversations that we have had preceding the war, and of course the cost of war, and why we must make sure that doesn't happen again. I also think the book is about those of us who are creatives, who are talented, who have an audience, whether you're a filmmaker, a poet, a writer, a playwright, an actor, whatever you are, if you have an audience, it means that you have the voice to be able to intervene in public discourse, to be able to stand as a force for good, for ethical relations, and for keeping the country in a place where we are more humanistic and the value of life is higher.
I'd like you to throw more light on the theme, reimagine. So, what can you say about that theme?
So basically, that theme couldn't have come at a better time. This is a time where we as Africans we're beginning to reimagine what it means to be African, what it means to be black. Now we're beginning to ask questions about what we've been told, by the colonialists, because a lot of us from my generation, a lot of the new generation, we don't really know who we are, and it's such a sad situation. But now you see that there's a movement, and there's Africans are beginning to try to reimagine who we are, different from what what we've been told. You see the Igbo, for instance, there's a new movement about Igbo spirituality. It's a lot of young people are asking questions. Who was my grandfather? Who was my grandmother? What did my great grandfather did? And the more we learn about this, our history, we realize that our ancestors were actually quite sophisticated. And so we're trying to encourage more of that kind of reimagining. Part of what we did this year was a workshop about folk tales, for instance. So we try to reimagine folk tales. So what if I want to tell any story today, but I want to tell it like it's a folk tale? I should be able to create new stuff. It's good to go back to what we received from our ancestors, but it's also more important that we take that baton.
Speaking during the festival, Mr. Emekamba, CEO and MD of Afia TV and Radio, emphasized the key role of film festivals in shaping the movie industry.
So what can you say about film festivals all over the world? How do they help to shape the movie industry?
I think the number one thing about film festivals is that it brings creatives together.
True.
Yeah, and what I think is more significant about it is that, conversations are had, new thinking, new ways of facing industry challenges together. I think that's the number one benefit of having, and the fact that you get to see movies that you ordinarily would not see in cinemas. So it's an incredible platform, especially if you're a young creative, if you're an aspiring filmmaker within this region. This festival.
School in Amemu, Afia, in Afia local government area, that government has developed a prototype for transforming public schools in the state into model schools. He expressed the determination of the government to make the standard of public schools higher than that of the private schools in Abia, as plans are on the way to introduce digital learning and teaching aids in public schools. And last from the region, police operatives in Anambra State have rescued 2 female kidnapped victims and arrested 4 suspects. Disclosing this in a statement on Wednesday, the spokesman for the Anambra State Police Command, Tochukwu Ikenga, says police operatives attached to the Oba Police Divisional Headquarters in Idemili South local government area of the state led the operation. He said the victims were rescued and the suspects arrested after a ransom of 200,000 naira was paid for the release of the victims. The Commissioner of Police, Nahe Obonoitam, admonished the teeming youths to be careful of the people they meet on social media. He also directed the immediate transfer of the suspects to the anti-kidnapping and robbery squad of the Command for comprehensive investigation. We take a short break now. When we return, more stories on the national front. Please stay.
Good evening to you, viewer, and welcome to Women in Business, a show that profiles women, executives, and even the next door store owners, showcasing Igbo greatness to the world.
I started always obsessed with books ever since I was a child.
The stress of always converting naira to dollar and...
An incompetent means an incompetent person.
What are your thoughts on the spate of sex for grades in Nigerian universities?
This very issue of owing salary should be criminalized.
How can they amplify their voices?
People don't have evidence.
You want to get to know about it? Have to stay tuned right here on Afia Morning Show to get the pulse and the feel of that.
Join us on Gyno Plus every Wednesday at 6 p.m. right here on Afia TV, DSTV channel 254 and GoTV channel 17, where we will delve into health issues affecting girls and women in society.
Breastfeeding doesn't even cause breastfeeding. The frequency of breastfeeding means the approach you take to make sure that your well-being is maintained.
Welcome to the latest and most amazing show on your...
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Lunch Break.
You don't sing along.
I did sing.
For real. You're not a backup singer.
That's what they do.
You've often wondered, what does it mean to be Igbo in today's Nigeria? You know, what's the intersections? What are the conversations we're having about our Igbo spirituality, culture? An example is people wearing red cap. You know, everybody wears red cap. Are they entitled to wear it? What does Nzenozo mean? What does Igbo spirituality mean? How have we changed as a society over the last 20, 30, 50, 100 years? Every Thursday, 6 p.m., if you want to know more on libations, as I have a conversation with different people from all walks of life who common thread is being Igbo, or doing business with the Igbo, or living in Igbo land. What does it mean to be Igbo in today's Nigeria? Cheers. And, oh, I need to do this. Let me pour to our ancestors.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is News Today on Afia Television, and I am Ogochukwu Osai. Now moving on to national news, President Bola Tinubu has arrived in France for a 3-day state visit at the invitation of French President Emmanuel Macron. He landed at Orly Airport in Paris at 5:10 p.m. local time. This visit aims to bolster political, economic, and cultural ties between the two nations, with a focus on partnership in agriculture, security, education, health, youth engagement, innovation, and energy transition. The presidential spokesperson, Mr. Bayo Onanuga, in a statement disclosed that President Tinubu and his wife, Oluremi Tinubu, will today be hosted at the historic Les Invalides and the Elysee Palace by President Macron and First Lady Brigitte Macron. Onanuga explained that the visit will also feature discussions on enhancing youth-focused exchange programs, particularly in automation, entrepreneurship, innovation, and leadership. Now, in other news, President Bola Tinubu has approved the appointment of Jamiu Abiola as the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Linguistics and Foreign Matters. In a statement on Wednesday by Director, Information and Public Relations, Office of the Secretary to the State Government, Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Segun Imohishen, Abiola's appointment was effective from November 14, 2024. Abiola is one of the children of the winner of the 1993 presidential election, annulled by General Ibrahim Babangida, the late Chief Moshood Abiola. He was formerly appointed a special assistant to the president on special duties in the office of the vice president. Meanwhile, the Federal Capital Territory FCT Development Commission Bill has passed a second reading at the Red Chamber of the National Assembly. The sponsor of the bill, Senator Wadada Aliyu, highlighted the significant challenges posed by the rapid growth of Abuja as Nigeria's political and economic center on surrounding towns. According to Aliyu, the bill aims to create a specialized commission tasked with managing the development of satellite towns within a 60-kilometer radius of the FCT borders.
Of the Federal Capital Territory has also significant socio-cultural, economic and political impact on the surrounding towns and communities. While Abuja has become a hub for governmental, political and economic activities, the neighboring towns to the FCT have continued to experience various challenges as they are all de facto extensions of Abuja. They continue to suffer from inadequate infrastructure, limited public services due to overcrowding and ever-growing population influx.
The bill received polarized reactions during the debate, with some senators expressing concerns over funding and the potential duplication of efforts with existing agencies.
The satellite towns have no infrastructure. Budgetary provisions are grossly inadequate. In fact, it is only doesn't include funding of satellite towns. So for this reason, Mr. President,
I wholeheartedly support, we will work out the modalities of the Constitution, but that commission is critical. FCT, we all live here, all the agencies are here, all the MDAs, all of them are here. So it does not make sense for us to ignore the realities of having so many people living in the capital. And the capital isn't just the few districts that have been developed.
Those satellite towns of the FCT are those satellite towns that are within the constitutionally recognized boundaries of the Federal Capital Territory. To extend it outside will mean amending the Constitution and then making a recognition of those places like Mararaba, Kefi, and several other surrounding towns in Kaduna and other states.
Presiding over plenary, the Deputy President of the Senate, Barry Jibrin, before passing the bill for the second reading, stated that the bill will be configured in the committee level before its final passage.
Of course, when the report is brought to the floor of the Senate, we'll look at how the committee is going to do the entire thing, and if it's okay with us, then we can pass it. But it's not in tandem with the Constitution, or it doesn't go well, it's not sensible, it's not okay, then of course we can get it aborted. Those in favor that the bill be read the second time, please say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it.
And still on legislative matters, the Senate has screened the Acting Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Olufemi Oluyede, behind closed doors. The Senate Committee on Army, chaired by Senator Abdulaziz Yaradua, conducted the screening in room 211 of the Senate's new building at the National Assembly complex. In his opening remark, Yaradua welcomed committee members and stakeholders, emphasizing the significance of the screening as a critical legislative function. He referred the letter from President Bola Tinubu presented to the Senate on Tuesday, nominating Oluyede for confirmation as the Chief of Army Staff. Last from the national scene, former Kogi State Governor Yahaya Bello has appeared at the Federal Capital Territory High Court in Abuja for hearings related to 110 billion naira fraud charges. He was declared wanted by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) in April 2024 and was questioned before being brought to court. The EFCC had filed 19 charges against him and his nephews Ali Bello, Dauda Suleiman, and Abdul Salam Hudu for money laundering. Bello, along with co-defendants Umar Oricha and Abdul Salami Hudu, is now facing a fresh 16-count charge for 110 billion naira. Bello is also facing additional charge of 80.2 billion naira fraud before the Federal High Court, with multiple adjournments due to his absence. As of the time of this report, Bello arraignment is ongoing at the FCT High Court. And now to business news. The Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, MAN Southeast, has commenced her 36th Annual General Meeting Awards and Gala in Enugu with the theme Revitalizing Nigeria's Economy through Manufacturing-Driven Non-Oil Exports. Lady Adachukwu Dozie, chairperson of MAN Southeast, Anambra, Enugu, and Ebonyi States, stressed the need for manufacturers to support the efforts of government in diversifying the nation's economy.
And the whole intention is to support government in this drive, in their initiative to encourage businesses towards diversifying into the non-oil export sector. And then as manufacturers, we have been encouraged to add value to raw materials and then export the finished product so that we can earn foreign exchange. But we found out that so many manufacturers have ventured into this and have burnt their fingers. And today we have brought together stakeholders to explore this particular issue. Has to do with export. Where are those sectors, export enabling sectors in the southeastern region? How can we explore the areas that we have comparative advantage?
The chairman of the occasion, Chief Martin Abaso, highlighted the timeliness of this event and the need for collaboration to bring about a more friendly business environment.
But if the right things are done the way the Manufacturers Association is doing now, we can intervene. And what do we do? We look at those things that need to be exported, arrange them from the farm gate standpoint, educate Nigerians on what you need to export, which markets need what, which countries demand what product and in what form. Standards are met. Now, if we now want to add value, that's where Manufacturers Association comes in. Something like gum arabic, if you take gum arabic and for export, it's only $2,300 today per ton. But if you process it, it can go as high as $19,000.
Mrs. Ijoma Ezaso, a member of MAN and a director in Afia TV, spoke on the importance of government involvement in making businesses thrive, especially in the southeast Nigeria.
Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, we've had a lot of advocacy, we've had a lot of discussions with governments for them to understand that government has business in business, because that mantra has been a very, very bad mantra that has been moving around from around the early 2000s when the issue of privatization came up, and we kept on hearing that government has no business in business. Government has every business in business, because when we talk about the ease of doing business, giving the opportunity, the support that will allow the private sector to thrive. It comes from the aspect of government. So many discussions have gone on here, especially where it comes to raw materials production in the southeast, where land is very, very scarce, and there are issues concerning ownership and rest. We need government to be integral part of giving the production of raw materials for us in the southeast. We can't continue to import raw materials which can be produced locally here in the southeast.
Two of the panel discussants, Mr. Nemeka Obianeri and Professor Shegun Shebueso, called for the optimization of the Southeast Nigeria's comparative advantage in the area of agriculture and other exportable products.
We are raising young Nigerians to become export merchants. And what do? Pick Nigerian products anywhere. We look at it, it's exportable. Go to any African country and go and dominate that place. We have been sponsoring trade missions to identify products that are exportable from Southeast. And we have identified 567 products that are exportable. Then we can't ask the manufacturer to start doing it. They have a lot of problems to handle it. Thank God for Tiger Food. Can we train young people that have the zeal that can become export merchants and begin to take these products to African countries? Thank God we have our brothers there. And we have been able to do it successfully in 7 African countries now.
With us, there were people that were into scientific agriculture. South Africa actually being fed by 11,000 farmers, corn farmers. So we must be very scientific. Just for instance, yam. A tuber of 10 kg yam is about 7,000 now. Igbo land used to be the place where yam is actually manufactured, produced mightily. Anama, DG, SH. Today, most of our yam are imported from Benue State. We consume 185 million tubers of yam annually in the southeast. 95% comes from Benue State. All we just need to do, if we want to meet domestic consumption, cultivate 18,000 hectares, 14,000 plants, fully irrigated. We can eat yam 24/7, 365 days. Provide parabola nets to provide a modern ban, not the old ban that our fathers did. And what are we doing now? We are involving youth. And how do we encourage youth? Like I mentioned to us that we are doing 18,000 greenhouses. I don't own them. How do I own them? It's jointly owned. We built one greenhouse. We bring an agronomist. We attach 2 youths who he will train for 3 months. We release that one, Igbo apprenticeship scheme. They go to inherit the other greenhouse. The arrangement is, I will recover my cost after 1 year. Once I recover my cost, it goes 50-50.
The annual general meeting's first day featured goodwill messages and a performance by a guest music group. The event continues today with an award ceremony to honor some distinguished individuals. Away from that, some lawmakers protested against the motion to suspend its rules and proceedings to allow the chairman, Federal Inland Revenue Service, Zacchaeus Adedeji, and the chairman of the Presidential Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms Committee, Taiwo Oyedele, into the Red Chamber. This was after the Senate suspended its rules to admit Adedeji and the consultant into plenary to explain what the tax reform bill entailed. However, before they were admitted, a slight uproar ensued as some lawmakers kicked against the FRSC chairman and the consultant entering the chamber. Senators Abudu Ningi and Ali Ndume raised an objection over the Senate's decision to suspend the business of the day and entertain a separate matter in spite of its validity.
Mr. Speaker, I read through some of these things and I listened to the leader most appropriately. I don't see anywhere whereby the senators should allow these people to come here and make the kind of interactions they so want. However, committees of the Senate and Appropriation can invite for the interaction of this manner, but not the Senate in session. I think our rule does not cover invitation to consultants or any official of government to come and bring the sentence.
Try to use the position of the Senate, because the order paper is clear, and we have been doing this. I have no problem having them to come here and explain whatever. We have been doing that, but we follow known procedures, and that is if today this thing has to be taken, you now quickly ask for supplementary order paper that will reflect this. And as you say, this is a very, very important matter. It is not a matter that you just come and tell us after we are doing business of the day. Mr. President, you can have your way, but I will have my say. You will have your way, but I can have my say. You can use the gavel, and I will use my voice. This thing is very sensitive. Our people have been dominated by this matter. When you say it's matter of urgent national importance, yes, we do have matters of urgent national importance. But even those matters normally is referred to the next legislative date or another legislative date.
Despite their objections, Deputy President of the Senate, Barau Jibrin, who presided over the plenary session, defended the Senate's actions, dismissing concerns as unnecessary rhetoric.
Clamoring for openness in this arrangement. We want to be open. We want Nigerians to know. We want everybody to know what's wrong here. We are trying to make everything open, live. Let everybody listen. The chairman of is here. And why are you saying you don't want that to be done? This is wrong. 1B, which the leader came under. Can you read order 1B for me, please? Can you read order 1B? Okay. Order 1B read as follows. In all cases not provided for in this standing order, or by sectional or other orders or practice of the Senate shall by resolution regulate its procedure. This is what we have just done. This is a resolution that was just passed. You needed to have known what we have done. I therefore rule you out of order.
The heated exchange underscored the growing tension surrounding the tax reform bill, which has drawn widespread public interest and concern over its potential impact on Nigeria's economy. The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has pegged the minimum foreign exchange trade on the electronic foreign exchange matching system, FM's platform, at $100,000 with an incremental clip sizes of $50,000, directing banks to deploy and go live in the use of the Bloomberg B March as the FMs for trading activities in the forex market effective December 2nd, 2024. The guidelines for FMs, the CBN added that the participants must set credit and settlement limits for other counterparts in the system, and that transactions exceeding these limits will not be executed. Now we take a short break. When we return, more stories on the international scene and the world of sports. Please stay.
It's a brand new week and another opportunity for us to gist and me to tell you, bring all the spice, all the things that are hot, trending and exclusive on social media. Sometimes I know there's constructive criticism. I know that you know how to quote it. So for the people that don't understand, I want to be like, oh, why are you doing this?
Please, I'm not a cross-dresser. I'm only doing this because of the money on Facebook.
There are some people you need to just tell the truth brutally. Let it hurt them. Give it hot.
Afia TV official, exclusive every weekday on Afia TV.
Assalamu alaikum jama'a, sunana mai martaba Sarki Abubakar Yusuf Sambo. Ina kallon Afia TV kuma ina jaddada ma jama'an mu su dinga kallon Afia TV. Allah ya taimake su a aikin da suke na kyau. Inda ba yake ne mu no Afambo His Royal Highness Sarki Abubakar Yusuf Sambo an ma watch Afia TV na kwado kwan dibu. Inda ba ni ne ka hana watch Afia TV. Afia TV na mo fino dalono.
Time check, it's 2 p.m. and it's time for us to vibe, chill, and relax. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Lunch Break on Afia TV. So Lunch Break is all about the music, it's all about fun, it's all about entertainment, it's all about entertaining gossip and stories from social, it's all about the latest trends, it's about what's lit, it's all about the games with our guests, and yes, in general, I like to say it's all about the vibe and vibes only.
Welcome to Afia TV, your go-to channel for excellent news and incredible shows that keeps you IEI, that is, informed, entertained, and inspired. Need a break?
Ladies and germs, welcome to Lunch Break on Afia TV.
Join Choco to vibe and chill on Lunch Break at 2 p.m. for the latest trends in music and entertainment.
Not like I have big money.
Dive into the world of innovation and creativity with Rochelle on Unka.
It means art in English.
Where creative minds and groundbreaking ideas come to life. Tune in every weekday at 8 p.m. Do not miss Afia TV Official, your perfect dose of laughter, where they discuss what is currently trending on social media every day at 5:30 p.m. on Afia TV.
But in this economy, the savings will save you, man.
And that's not all. Stay tuned for more exciting shows on Afia TV. Catch us on DSTV channel 254 and Go TV channel 17.
Welcome back. This is still News Today on Afia Television, and I am Okuchukwu Osai. Now, moving on to foreign scene, Mexico's president and economy minister have given the clearest picture yet of how their government will respond to United States President-elect Donald Trump's proposed tariff on the country, which their government has warned will cost 400,000 U.S. jobs. Speaking at a news conference on Wednesday, Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum said the Mexican response will be swift if Trump follows through on the plans. Her comments were the latest response to Trump's statement on Monday that he plans to impose massive tariff on not just China, but on Canada and Mexico as well, at a whopping 25% rate. In other news, British police have announced that they are investigating associates of late Harrods owner Mohammed Al-Fayed on suspicion of assisting and facilitating his alleged rape and other sexual abuse of female staff. London Metropolitan Police Service explained that it had opened the probe after a renewed public appeal, and recent media coverage led to 90 people coming forward with allegations against Al-Fayed, who owned the luxury British department store Harrods between 1985 and 2010. Recall that Al-Fayed was the subject of a BBC documentary in September that detailed abuse allegations by 20 women. He denied accusations of sexual assault while he was alive and was not charged with any crime. And finally, on the international front, Taiwan's military held an early morning air defense drill to test its response and engagement procedures ahead of a trip by President Lai Ching-te at the end of the week to the Pacific that will include U.S. stopovers. According to assessments by Taiwan's and regional security officials, China is likely to launch military drills in the coming days near Taiwan, using Lai's upcoming trips to the Pacific and the scheduled U.S. transit as a pretext. The officials noted that the drill is to strengthen the overall effectiveness of air defense operations and to test the response and engagement procedures of the air defense forces. And now moving ahead to the world of sports, former African champions Enugu International started their campaign in the CAF Confederation Cup on Wednesday evening with a defeat to Al Masry in Egypt. Despite entering the game at the Swiss Stadium with full confidence, they played second fiddle throughout the game. The Egyptians dominated the game from the blast of the whistle and scored the first goal in the 5th minute through Mohamed Hamada. They continued their dominance in the second half, and Hamada completed his brace just before the end of the game and ensured a comfortable 2-0 win for Al Masry. And still on the world of sports, Nasarawa United returned to winning ways after a 2-1 win over Bendel Insurance in matchday 14 MPFL clash. Victor Collins opened the scoring in the 9th minute for the host before May equalized in the 24th minute. The Southwest Derby, Remo Stars won Shooting Stars with a comfortable 2-0 victory in Ikene, while Sunshine Stars and Rivers United shared the spoils in a 1-1 affair at Ijebu-Ode. Ikorodu City made a 2-0 victory over El Kamanami Warriors at the Mobalaji Johnson Arena, Lagos, and in Uyo, Akwa Ibom United won against Plateau United, while Kwara United got the better of Heartland FC 1-0 in Ilorin. Other results include Abia Warriors 2-0 to Katsina United. Bayelsa United played 4-1 with Niger Tornadoes, and Rangers International played 3-0 with Lobby Stars. And now to our special report. Imo State has long been known to be a vibrant and energetic youth population. There have been claims regarding that the state government's efforts to engage these youths, particularly through initiatives in agriculture and skill acquisition. Now, our correspondent in Owerri, Miriam Onubule, spoke to some youths who gave their scorecards in the state government's dedication to youth-focused initiatives.
Over the years, youth unemployment has been a pressing issue in Imo State, promoting calls for more action and sustainable programs. But is the government truly making strides in these areas? In skills acquisition, the Imo State government ran the Skill Up Imo project last year with focus to empower youth with digital skills to become self-sufficient and able to contribute to the local economy. Participants were given gadgets like laptops, phones, cameras after the training to aid their tech journey. Bright, a young man that resides in Owerri, confirms that some of his friends had benefited from the training.
Last year, I heard about Skill Up Imo, where the government brought up something to empower the youth. I heard they shared laptop, but I wasn't among them. So my classmates, they benefited from it. So I think, yes, he's doing something for the youth in Imo State.
Chinoso, who also lives in Owerri, says he never heard of the Skill Up Imo project.
Honestly, I'm not aware of any such program by the state government in the state. We only hear about stuff and then we end up seeing them on papers or on pieces of papers and booklets about people that are empowered. Why we don't see anything that's happening.
Ebuka does not believe that the youth that took part in the skills acquisition program were properly trained.
When you see a good government, you must see the effects. Both the bad and the good, you must see the effects. You and I know that the effect what we're expressing here in Imo State is a very wrong perspective of it. Are you know what I'm saying? So in concerning the skill acquisition, I don't know the people because I'm into IT, you know what I do, I'm into IT and I heard people saying this, saying that, and most of them, if you call them, bring them to IT's level of it, most of them don't know anything about it. What's skill acquisition? Skill acquisition, you give someone something that's in the society. That's one thing I like. You know, this government of African and Nigeria, most importantly, they always, what they're supposed to do, what they're supposed to render to us, and they were bragging that they are doing well.
On the other hand, Imo State's Commissioner for Agriculture and Food Security, Honorable Cosmos Madoba, attended the 2024-2025 dry season planting program that held last week in Calabar. Although the southeastern states generally lagged in attendance, the presence of the commissioner is thought to demonstrate the state's commitment to strengthening its agricultural sector. The same ministry, after a courtesy visit from the Southeast Women Initiative, is gearing for a food exhibition project on the 30th of November, supposed to celebrate local agricultural produce and include training for farmers. Notwithstanding these efforts, Chinonso and Ebuka insist that the state's agriculture sector is suffering.
If the government was doing anything about agriculture, food would be expensive in the states. A plate of Gari now should be around 4,000 naira or 5,000 naira, which is very high. So I don't think anything has been done about agriculture in this state. Nothing at all. You have to first make sure that the roads are good, to make sure that the products from the villages that are coming in have ease of movement to the capital before you can talk about the price of agricultural products being reduced, of which I don't see that happen. So unfortunately, it's doing bad.
Now come to agriculture. What is other farm? We have another farm. Has you seen any effect of other farm? Other farm is other farm, they made other farm to produce palm oil that you can circulate and take care of, both in exporting and importing. Exporting and importing of other palm, as in of palm oil. Yes, palm oil. But we can't see the effects. What's the palm oil of today? How much is it? Should you reduce anything in the price of palm oil? No. So we have all the palm there, and the palm is not working. Agriculture, I've not seen any effect of agriculture. Okay, the loan they give to agriculture, people that go into agriculture. Have you seen any loan concerning that here? No.
It is safe to say that the consistency in reaching these initiatives remains points of concern for many. In Owerri, Miriam Onyebule for Afia Television.
Thank you, Miriam, for that special report. And now to end the news, a recap of the top stories. ESDA has launched the second edition of Coal City Deaf Awareness Week. And in Abuja, President Tinubu has approved the appointment of Jamilu Abiola as SSA on Linguistics and Foreign Matters. On business news, Enugu hosts Manufacturers Association of Nigeria Southeast AJM. On the foreign scene, you heard that British police has announced investigations of late Harrods owner Mohammed Al-Fayed. And that's the much we have on our bulletin this afternoon. Many thanks for joining us. Do well to follow us on all social media platforms at Afia TV Official. I am Ogochukwu Osai. Many thanks for watching.
Good evening to you, viewer, and welcome to Women in Business, a show that profiles women, executives, and even the next door store owner, showcasing Igbo greatness to the world.
I started always obsessed with books ever since I was a child.
The stress of